They kept it that way. The Next Level kept it that way, which I believe Doe thought was T's mind, that she didn't need to bring with her to occupy the human vehicle, was actually acting as T's older member. Doe said that she could do other things at the same time. That's the first thing he said about that. And then sometime later he said the other part. But, well, I want to make sure I get in here I keep on with the, I could be wrong. But let me back up, because I want to complete that thought on Doe being accused of going haywire after T left. And I want to say that the beginning of I Could Be Wrong, which is giving the will over to the older members, giving all our thoughts over to the older members, recognizing that we are not going to have any self-confidence at all in anything. So we're making ourselves into total children that are going to be totally trusting, and that's what Jesus said is like members of, aspiring members to the kingdom of heaven are going to be like children. And but T instigated that years before T left. I would estimate like 1980. 79 or 80, I would think, where we were on the way to Mississippi, I believe, and it might have been the last meeting we had before we went to Mississippi. I don't know, it was close to it. I think we were in Colorado at the time when we actually went to Mississippi, and only stayed there for 2 weeks near Biloxi, I believe, north of there. But I could have that wrong, that location, but it doesn't matter that much. But there's the other side of the Mississippi River where T and Doe said that they always felt like they were out of bounds when they went east of the Mississippi. And as I've written about, I believe that's because that was the New Jerusalem boundary. The New Jerusalem represented, I believe, the spacecraft that the Next Level could bring wherever they want to bring it, but they kept focused on the western United States, essentially. Not exactly, but essentially. I think Seattle wasn't in it, maybe Portland wasn't in it. And we never went there, even though they tried to go in those places. Anyway, but what T said, which we learned later from Doe, she thought that half the class would leave after she said this. And what she said was that you're going to have to give your will to us. So the idea that that was a sign of Doe freaking out is erroneous. Doe didn't implement anything T didn't start. Because they even had the book on ways to turn the vehicle off. The Hemlock Society makes the book. I'm not encouraging people to get the book and do that. That's not my job. I'm here to try to help people recognize who T and Doe are. And if they want to give their life to T and Doe, start telling other people about this information. And do it more and more. And you'll find out how much you'll be rejected, and eventually some will throw rocks at you in one way or another. So at this point, I think it would be safe to say it might be a cop-out for most people to lay down their life like they did. I'm not saying it's not an option. It always is an option, I believe. And I don't think for a moment that T and Doe would frown on it. If someone was doing it for that reason, to be closer to T and Doe and to be with them. But they're still going to have to learn the same lessons So, which is fine, you know. Maybe that, I don't know. I don't want to. I'm just trying to be honest about that, and you know, the last thing I want is people to say, you know, he's preaching, you know, laying down your life. Well, I don't believe in suicide, so we have a lot to live for, and that is learning lessons. Learning lessons. That's the hard part. And when you're outside the classroom, I suspect, I believe they even said this, that it's harder to learn the lessons because you don't have that camaraderie. You don't have the teachers right there with you, you know, helping you stay on track. You know, I mean, the tests will come one way or the other because T&O aren't going to let anybody in their crew that they think is going to become a renegade like the Luciferians were. The standards were raised, T said. When she got back, she said the standards were going to be raised because she was going to bring that consciousness of the mind that she was developing and the recognition of doing the task that her mind was, in taking over the vehicle, was accumulating. They were getting a first-hand look at what the human kingdom had grown to become because of the Luciferian influence. And so she was taking that real information back. The next level is very functional. And they're very practical, they're very commonsensical, but it's not common sense and practicalities necessarily as humans would see it. Their interest is how can we give souls better opportunities to see the truth? How can we give vehicles a genetic structure that will be wanting more than the human kingdom can offer? Recognizing the limitations of the human kingdom, and that shows the evolution of the mind. When you are tired of sexuality, or tired of smoking pot, or tired of drinking yourself silly, or it doesn't mean that your vehicle is going to be necessarily tired of those things, but if you're taking control of your vehicle, then the more you draw a mind from T&O, the more your vehicle will be challenged to respond, but you will have to take control and create circumstances for the vehicle that don't challenge the vehicle, and that can be very hard to do, staying in our human environment with the people that are engaged in all the behaviors. So, and it could also, it's also hard to do without a partner. Anyway, I could be wrong, but so each student said to Mark and Sarah, who decided to stick close to Mark and help him, which wasn't an instruction from Do for her to do. So she wanted to do that because she wanted to leave, I believe. And that's okay. That was, you know, it was always an option to leave. And sure, it was considered to be failure to leave. But you know what? When somebody wants to leave, that doesn't really matter anymore. And so it's just a matter of time until they find a way to do it. And some did it by leaving in the middle of the night. So Mark and Sarah didn't do that because they were actually given a car and some money and they went. They chose where to go, and they went back to the area where Mark's vehicle had, Mercody's vehicle had family. So I've been asked this question about them, so I feel like to be honest, I need to be forthright about giving an accurate answer. And I also don't feel any ill will towards Mercoti and Sarah Foti, who are called now Mark and Sarah, who are in charge of, who were given by Tian-Do the task of being in charge of the website, keeping it up. And they were given some money, and they were given other things, and they also used money out of their pockets to publish the Purple Book. And so they're selling that material now, and I would sell that too if I could. I actually should go to a bookstore with. I have a few that Mark sent me. So I don't have ill will towards them, but I do feel that they need to not limit what people can have access to that are believers, and that means the tapes, all the tapes. I think would be completely in Tian-Do's intention to be publicly available, like Carlin is making available on the FileShare site. Now, there can be a little charge for it because you got to pay for the services of other people. I mean, if you don't have to, great. You know, when the site was a FileShare site that wasn't charging at first, Carlin put it up there. People could download that material for free, and I did. And but then the FileShare site actually started charging, and I don't believe Carlin gets any of that. But if Carlin did get some of that, I think that would be good because he's sending people information on CDs and things, and that costs him money. And there's no reason why somebody shouldn't return energy with energy. And since we can't really serve each other in this format, you know, by actually being with each other, we can trade, or we can give them money so that they can use that to trade for the things that they need in their lives to keep going and to send out more information. And yes, this looks like, you know, a church basically starting, right? But a church is a body of believers that are, you know, distributing the information, okay? And that actually serves the next level. The fact that even if it gets off track and becomes an organization, look how well it spread the Jesus message throughout the world, right? Where if it hadn't become an organization, so that doesn't mean I'm in favor of the Tila Foundation, because of the things that are said on that Facebook page that is organized by the Tila Foundation, because all the links go back to the Heaven's Gate website where they talk about the Tila Foundation as an address to write to, or so they're putting the copyright on things as the Tila Foundation, and that's not correct. That's not what Tian-Do intended. And because I have the copyright notice that they put up for the book, the Purple Book, and it was a public copyright that was against resale and was against changing the content. And in a sense, well, not in a sense, it appears that Mark or somebody working for Mark, maybe Dave, did change the content. I mean, just a little bit, but a little bit goes to a long ways when you start interpreting the information and saying this is presented by the, you know, we have Odie names and we're presenting this information. This is a degree of the lower forces coming in and trying to take over the project. And so I don't know if Mark and Sarah can see this now, because I know they had problems with the exit that they chose. They felt very put upon, or at least Sarah expressed that by Doe and the class leaving by laying down their lives and leaving them with the website and everything to field the questions and the queries that would come. That no doubt were difficult. I don't doubt that they were difficult, and but we're all under attack by the Luciferians. It's not like they're worse than us. We're not the judge of who's worse than who, but it's very, very, very thin line between saying things against Doe and putting out false information about the level above human. When you talk about how learning about this information is getting ready for the future age, and that studying it is what you should do with it, instead of putting it into motion, because the current age is now. It's not over. The age is the 6,000 year or so period of time until the garden's recycled. That's the next level age. Whether that's 6,000 years or 6,500 years or this is 1,000 years of recycling, when Lucifer is locked up. Because I don't see much evidence that Lucifer has ever been locked up since in the history books that we have. I think the last time he was around was before what was depicted as the flood. Anyway, so where do I want to go from there? And the Beyond Human tapes, allowing Dave to remove those, and Rio allowing Dave to remove those, and then Dave puts them on another site, and then saying that he wanted to improve them or something to me, he told me, and then putting them, then taking him off that site. I mean, who is he working for? Okay, we see who he's working for. And they're making their choices. They're very serious choices. Keeping information away from people, I don't know if that's right in line with actually changing the information and delivering something else. Because both have the same result. Because the more people actually see Doe and hear him talk, the more they will understand what he's talking about and come to know the person that he is. So fortunately, Carlin and XF are working to put those Beyond Human tapes back up. So that's a good thing, because we can step to the plate to do that. And the transcripts are still available, but I think it's valuable to see his picture, otherwise he wouldn't have made videos. And I suspect the reason why it was good to videos is in case the Next Level actually wants to bring his face back, even after that vehicle is dead. If they want to bring that face back to show everybody that that group were the ones that are in all these spacecrafts that are surrounding us right now. If that's the way it happens, which is one of the ways Doe said might happen in the Beyond Human tapes. So, we don't know that they couldn't take that. Let me put it this way: I'm very sure that they could, by one way or another, have a way to transmit Doe's face to satellites to be transmitted down to all the TVs and the internet. for that matter. What if that all of a sudden happened everywhere? Wouldn't that be something else, huh? People would be saying, what the heck is that? Who's that? And then other people would say, holy smokes. The jaws would drop. They would feel like running and hiding. And yet that's what it says in Revelations. Is they're going to hide from his face. So the more you get to know his face, when that happens, you'll say, holy smokes, they're giving us proof. They're giving us proof undeniable. Just like Jesus gave the new believers proof. Well, he gave the old believers proof too. Because unless you've graduated, the vehicle is going to be rebellious to a degree and is not going to be as much under control as when you have proof. And then the vehicle is actually shocked into behavioral change. I just wanted to share also that Tina and I weren't sticking in the mud about, they had fun. I mean, it wasn't fun like humans would have fun. And when they were asked that question, they said, well, in the next level, do they have fun? They were asked that question. And they said, yes, they have fun. But just like horses are having fun in their way, running around the field. And that's their enjoyment. The next level has fun that's different from humans in that regard. And we can see the fun in the next level. We get a taste of it. It's a mental form of fun. They don't have fun, I don't believe, exercising their vehicles or doing calisthenics or playing sports. Well, they may have their form of sport. One of their forms of fun is to give us clues through our language and number systems, clues to the next level. Symbology in a sense, I guess, is part of that, but also words.